Hello students, today I am going to discuss question number 18 to 26 for GATE 2022. Your exam is nearby, hence I feel it would be very helpful to you. So let's start. The question number 18 is, in a specific language, Sher Dam means big horse. Liro, car, Cas means red tomato. And Dum Cas Dan means big red barn. So we have red here and we have Liro, Cas or Liro. So since Cas is here and no Liro, means red is common in both. So red is Cas. Now, then we have big here and big here as well. So the common is Dan. So Dan is means big, Cas means red, and Dum means barn. So it asks the equivalent word for barn in this language is Dum. A is the correct answer. Now let's move to question number 19. And this question says Park Street is parallel to Rock Street. So I drew this Park Street and it is parallel to Rock Street here. Then Garden Street is perpendicular to Lake Street. And I don't know about Lake Street, but Lake Street is parallel to Rock Street. So Lake Street I draw parallel here and it becomes my another parallel street which I come here, and Garden Street is parallel to this. So that is our question. Now, which of the following is correct? Or the true statement is Park Street is perpendicular to Lake Street. No, Park Street is parallel to Lake Street actually. Rock Street is parallel to Garden Street. No, Rock Street is perpendicular to Garden Street. Park Street is parallel to Garden Street. No, the same, they are parallel. And then Garden Street is perpendicular to Park Street. Yes, that's one correct. Garden Street is perpendicular to Park Street. So option D is the correct answer. Now let's go to question number 20, which reads, 6 examinations are required to be conducted in a week starting from Sunday to Saturday, all the 7 days. Hindi is not scheduled on the first day and English is not scheduled before Hindi. So if I put this first day, second day, third day, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, so I know Hindi is not on the first day. Now is it on the second day? Not sure yet. But then let's see. Hindi is not scheduled on the first day and English is not scheduled before Hindi. So English must be after Hindi. So I put here that either you put here English is definitely after Hindi, or I put here English after Hindi. Now mathematics is scheduled 1 day after physics. Means if mathematics is here, then physics must be 1 day before mathematics. So there will be a gap here. Somewhere there will be gap in between. So we can have that. So physics and mathematics, there must be one subject if the exam is held that day. Okay. Then biology is scheduled 2 days after Hindi. So since Hindi cannot be before this, and then biology needs to be 2 days after. So it came here. Or I put 2 gaps between Hindi and biology. Okay. Now it says 1 day prior to chemistry there is no examination. So this one is chemistry has a gap of 1 day, means chemistry cannot be on the first day, that's for sure. So chemistry has a gap of 1 day and only one examination can be scheduled on a single day, and Sunday is not an off day. So there is an exam on Sunday. So that's what I put. 7th day is Sunday. No, Sunday is the first day because we are starting from Sunday to Saturday. So Sunday is not an off day, means exam is happening on Sunday. Now it cannot be chemistry, it cannot be Hindi, it cannot be math, and it cannot be biology either. So it can be only English or physics on Sunday. Now which can happen first? So let's see. So one day prior to the only one examination can be scheduled on a single day, and Sunday is not an off day. What are the subjects scheduled on the first and the last day? So on the English is not scheduled before Hindi, so only physics is left which can be uh, held on Sunday. So we get this physics, and then when we get physics, we immediately get math. That if physics is on the first day, then on third day math must be there, because mathematics is scheduled one day after physics, and biology is scheduled 2 days after Hindi. So we need to figure out that Hindi must be, because if we are here at math, then biology cannot be, because cannot be on the last day, and there has to be one gap. So biology is scheduled 2 days after Hindi, we don't know. One day prior to chemistry, there is no examination, so I put chemistry here, and the 1 day gap is this one. So sixth day is there is no examination, and chemistry is on the last day. Now we go to the options. So A is first day physics, that's correct. First day physics, oh well, three of the options are first day physics, means there should be one of them should be correct. And first day English, no, it cannot happen, so D is definitely out, because Hindi is before English, so English cannot be on the first day, and Hindi is not on the first day either. So out of A, B, C, only one of the options is correct. And then last day chemistry, so that comes out to be here, because there has to be a gap before chemistry, and the gap between biology and Hindi are 2 days. So if Hindi is here, then biology must be here. So that way option B is the correct answer. Now I go to question number 21, and it says a passage consists of 6 sentences. The first and sixth sentences of the passage are their correct positions, while the middle 4 sentences represented by P, Q, R, S are jumbled up. So first sentence is a smoke oozed up between the planks. Planks is the pillar, or whatever we call it, beam in this civil engineering language, the beam which supports the roof. So a smoke oozed up between the planks. Then the last sentence is most people bore the shock bravely, means they were not scared. Now, so we need to see the order. So when smoke is seen, then what will happen? Obviously there is some fire. So now the rising gale famed the smoldering fire, and flames broke out here and there. That will be because of this rising gale formed. So smoke comes because of this. Somewhere the fire came, and the rising gale fanned the smoldering fire, which caused the smoke. So just after smoke, this seems to be the logical answer. And then when there is gale, means a strong wind, rising gale means a strong wind, so the wind will spread fire, so flames broke out here and there. So that should be the next logical sentence. And then everyone will know that, oh okay, now there is fire and there is smoke, so everyone knew the fire was on board. And when everybody knew, then the passengers were told to be ready to quit the ship. So P should be the last. Just before coming, most people bore the shock bravely, means they left, they didn't live in a hurry, they didn't get panicked, they left it, and whether they were saved or not, that we don't know, but they left it. So passengers were told to be ready to quit the ship, and so that way A seems to be the logical answer as per the sequence. Now here is QP, okay, S and R. QP is there, and then RS and PQ. So these options, S cannot happen before R, because S is flames broke out here and there, and everyone knew there was fire on board. So S has to come, what is this? thing. QP. Yes, well, since we already got answer, so let's leave it here. There is no point in wasting time. Now, next question. For a painting to succeed, it is essential that painter and his public agree about what is significant. Okay, so painter and public must agree. Must not must means it is essential means yeah, essential means must agree that what is significant. The subject of the painting may have a personal meaning for the painter or a common person, but there can also be the possibility of their agreement on its general meaning. Okay, so there can be the possibility of the general meaning which the public will understand. So it is at this point that the culture of society and the period in question precedes the artist and his her art. Renaissance art would have meant nothing to Aztecs who are in Mexico and vice versa. Renaissance happened in Europe and Aztecs are in Mexico. So they are culturally very different, hence it didn't mean to one another. If, to some extent, a few intellectuals can appreciate them both today, it is because their culture is a historical one. So, intellectuals are able to interpret it uh, because of their historical background. Its inspiration is history and all known developments to date. So, according to the passage, which of the following is are not necessarily among the attributes, means not necessarily. Okay, this is bold, written bold. Mm, Needed for a painter to succeed. Now, the subject must have a personal meaning for the painter. Well, it must have a personal meaning for the painter, it clearly writes. It is essential that the painter has his public agree. But then it also says that the public must agree. Only for painter must have a personal meaning for the painter doesn't matter. It says that it is essential that painter and his public agree about what is significant. So this sentence says must have a personal meaning for a painter doesn't follow. And then the second, the painter is able to communicate and justify the significance of its subject selection. No, it is not. The subject of painting may have a personal meaning, it says also may have a personal meaning, but there can also be possibility of their agreement on its general meaning. So the painter is not able to communicate and justify the significance. The significance is the agreement of the public with what the painter has in mind. Now, so it follows, okay, because the painter will tell, no, that okay, he has in mind, and then to that public will agree. Now, the painter and the public agree on what is significant. Yes, this follows. And then, what about the D? The painting of the subject is driven by public demand. Yeah, that is correct, because if public is not agreeing, then it doesn't become significant. So the painter works only when, not only when, rather I would say mostly when this public demand demands that kind of painting. So A and B don't necessarily follow, because it says that D says the painting of the subject is driven by public demand. Well, the painter also has to agree, no, he also has to have this personal preference. So that's why A and D are not necessarily following. Now, question number 23. Binod has a predetermined route. Each morning he delivers 37 newspapers to customers in his neighborhood. Okay, he delivers 37 newspapers. It takes Vinod 50 minutes to deliver all the papers. When Vinod was sick or had other engagements, his friend Tarun, who lives on the same street, delivered the papers on his behalf. Means Tarun also delivered 37 newspapers on his behalf. So that must be true according to the given information. Now Vinod and Tarun lived in the same locality. Yes, of course. Otherwise, this Tarun would not have been able to work for Vinod, because it says that his friend Tarun, who lives on the same street. So same street means same locality. So A, of course, is true, and then B. It was dark outside when Vinod began his delivery. This is nowhere mentioned, so this is not necessarily true. And it took Tarun more than 50 minutes to deliver the papers. That also is not true because it doesn't talk anything about Tarun. And then Tarun delivered 37 newspapers to customers. That's certainly true that he delivers 37 newspapers. However, there is a problem here that what if Tarun was also delivering newspaper? So then it may be more than 37 newspapers, but Tarun delivered 37 newspapers to customers. That is true. So A and D necessarily follow. Now, next question is cholera, typhoid, diphtheria, and tuberculosis cause huge number of deaths. Poor quality drinking water has always been the world's greatest single carrier of sickness. Okay, so it is this poor quality drinking water. Now, disease is transmitted when sewage and drinking water come into contact. So, children are particularly vulnerable. In some of the poorest countries, the infant mortality rate is high. In poorest country, okay, the separation of sewage and the supply of clean drinking water are the domain of civil engineers, and their work makes a significant contribution to public health. So, this separation of clean drinking water with the sewage makes contribution to public health. That contribution was recognized when public sanitation was voted the greatest medical breakthrough. So, greatest medical through was public sanitation. Yeah, it was not that let's see, vaccines. Okay, beating the discoveries including antibiotics and vaccines in a poll organized by British Medical Journal. So British Medical Journal had a poll, and it said that, well, the cause of freedom or elimination of these diseases is because of this public sanitation, not which has higher impact, means beating the discoveries, including antibiotics and vaccines. So let's see which is not true. Now, children are less prone to waterborne disease. No, it says children are particularly vulnerable here. So A is not correct. The infant mortality rate was high in economically weaker countries. Yes, it says that infant mortality, where is that? In some of the poorest countries, the infant mortality rate is high. So the infant mortality rate was high in economically weaker countries. This follows actually. So this one is which is are not true. So this one is the infant mortality rate was high in economically weaker countries. So this is true. Okay, and then the provision of sewage and drinking water should be adequately separated from each other. Yes, that's correct. And the literature states that the public health and sanitation was never given its due importance. So, never given due importance means this is wrong. So, the literature states that the public health and sanitation was never given its due importance. It says that, well, it was a poll, but it doesn't say that whether it was given due importance or not. Now, the infant mortality rate was high in economically weaker countries. It says in some of the poorest countries, not in all economically weaker countries. So those weaker countries, economically weaker countries, which had separated this sewage water from the drinking water, it doesn't follow. There was not necessarily infant mortality. So infant mortality was there in the poorest countries, but not all. It says in some of the. So that's why it doesn't follow that was high in economically weaker countries. So that way A, B, and D are not necessarily true. You have to see the language very closely. Like these lawyers look at it. They will always read the language which is printed in fine letters. So that way you get the hint. Now question number 25. Shark's teeth have evolved to correspond to the diet of each particular species of shark. Okay, they have shark teeth have evolved means it is not same for of each particular species means it is not the same for all species. Now, consequently, the teeth of great white shark bear little resemblance to those of the bull shark or nurse shark. The same thing as the first sentence. There were essentially four different shark diets and thus four varieties of shark teeth. Sharks that feed on fish have needle-like teeth, perfect for spearing and ripping. Sharks that eat mammals such as seals and sea lions have heavy serrated teeth, typically triangular on the upper jaw and pointed on the lower jaw. Sharks that feed in the benthic zone of the ocean have flattened teeth for crushing the shell of the creatures they find scuttling on in the sand or clinging to rocks. Means for chewing, for crushing, the shark needed this flattened teeth. Then sharks that have bask teeth, that bask means they enjoy in the sun, have teeth that are largely non-functional, means their teeth are only for showing because these sharks filter food from water by passing it through their gills, means they don't even chew the food. They just filter food from the water by passing it through their gills. Okay, now which of the following is our correct inferences? So let's see. Shark teeth are not specifically designed for slaughter. No, this shark teeth has specifically designed for slaughter. Okay. Then B. The shape of the shark teeth relates to its prey. That we have been reading from this first, second sentences. So B is correct. And some species of shark filter food through their gills. Yes, the last one part, filter food, the water through their gills. So this one is also correct. And shark's teeth relate to its diet. Actually, this D and B is same. So if B is correct, then D must be correct. So B, C and D choices are correct inferences. Now question number 26. A particular school management wants to contact all parents, all businessmen and all engineers. Okay. The following studies are available in the school. Businessmen are 50, so all businessmen need to be contacted. Engineers are 25, all engineers will be contacted, and parents are 25, so all these parents will be contacted, definitely 25. Okay, now business who are engineers are 0. So I made parents is equal to 25 and business who are engineers. So here they are engineers. None of them is business. So I separated it from the business. So this set of engineers doesn't have anybody in the business. And businessmen who are parents is equal to 25. So since parents are 2500, and these are the 25 businessmen who are parents also. And so another out of 50, 25 are non-parents. And then engineers who are parents is equal to 15. So 15 engineers are parents and the 10 engineers are not parents. Now the number of people needs to be contacted are. This says that the school management wants to contact all parents, means all 2500, plus all businesses. So all businesses means these 25 businesses which have not been parents, they will also be contacted. So I add 25 to that. And then all engineers. So these engineers, 10 engineers who are not parents, they also need to be contacted. So that way, in total, we have 2,535 people. So that is the answer. So that's all for this video now, and then I will go for the another video that will be covering the questions from 1 to 17. Thank you all for watching.